Once you instantiate this, this is the policy, this is the rule, over time, you attempt to measure in the society a few things. One is social cohesion. Ever since you instantiated the 1,000-to-1 rule, compared to before, let's say the rule was a 1-to-1, if you just arbitrarily want to save one person, you can kill another person. How is social cohesion? Are people like more leery, like, motherfuckers, anyone here could be fucking assholes. Fuck you, I'm never dying for you assholes. Or are they like, I love it here, and honestly, like if the government has to toast my ass to save a bunch of other people, like I'm gonna die anyway, might as well die saving 1,000 fucking people. Something like that. And that's gonna change depending on what the number is. Like 1-to-1, good luck. Good luck getting anyone to buy into that shit. 1-to-2, fuck, God, communist China was like 7-to-1 or something like that. Lost a decent fraction of the population. I don't know if it's 7-to-1. It was high. Social cohesion, you measure that. Somehow, it doesn't matter how you measure it, but let's just assume you can measure something like this. You can measure public and private responses to tragedies like this. A response to the tragedy, for example, 900 people get blown up and the sniper doesn't take the shot. And the news media covers it all and the sniper's got a fucking head cam and everything, and you're like, well, what was the public response? Like if the overwhelming public response was like, fucking God, what the fuck is wrong with us? Why didn't you take the shot? And you're like, well, we have the 1,000-to-1 policy. Like, fuck that policy. You're like, okay, well, so what you mean is like 900 people is totally like enough. Like, yes. And then you go, well, how many people does it end at? Is it 10-to-1? And they're like, yes. And is it 1-to-1? They're like, yeah, wait, no, I don't know. And it turns out they have a lot of feelings, but that response matters versus a response of like, yeah, it's fucked up. Terrorism is fucked up. We got to stop these terrorists instead of worrying about who to snipe. Like, it's good that they didn't shoot that innocent lady, man, because that would have been, in a sense, the terrorists really win if she dies, you know? And any number, a range of responses, both public and private. You can find out what people really think. You'd be like, look, like, yeah, like in public, I hate the whole thing. In private, like, I mean, fuck, man, I really kind of wish they killed that fucking lady, dude. Just fucking 900 people are dead. Or people in private, there's a range of answers here. It'd be like, yep, in public, they're, I guess, the greater good, the greater good. And in private, they're like, dude, what the fuck kind of dystopian fucking world are we living in? And they should have never shot that fucking lady. She was just fucking watching TV. All of a sudden, this terrorist wasn't even trying to kill her. He was trying to kill those other people. And what the fuck? You also, post-tragedy, pre and post, you compare economic output and immigration results, pre and post instantiating this policy, and of course the tragedies that occur because of it, or tragedies that occur and you attempt to ameliorate them with this policy. You know, if generally the society is humming along really great, it sucks. It's an interesting way to approach a solution. But remember, there's no inherently right or wrong here. It's all on the margins. It's all what creates the best progress for everyone, because that's what the ultimate most important thing is. And of course, like immigration results is like, if you say, hey, like we have a 10-to-1 rule and half your country leaves because they're like, fuck that, this goddamn Squid Games episode, I'm out. Then you're like, yeah, clearly this is not sustainable and this is the wrong answer because most of your value comes from the human beings that live in your society. If a bunch of them leave, worse society. And remember, economic output is, I want to make a point to say this, and I'll have videos on this later. Economic output isn't like, oh, fucking dollars over lives, man, greed. Well, it turns out that dollars are lives because you can push dollars towards life-saving cancer medicine for that fucking 6-year-old that got fucking cancer, or you can have not enough dollars and he just fucking dies in his bed. Money is life. Money can be pushed to various things to save more lives or fewer lives. And if you just take money and just crush it all out, and I don't mean physical money and I don't mean currency, I mean value, then if we are all bereft of value, we're standing completely fucking naked out in the goddamn cold because your house is valuable and so are your clothes. So money represents that. Money is the root of all good. Yes, I do have fucking Ayn Rand tattoos. I do have a nuanced view on Ayn Rand. Get in the comments and yell at me about that. I'm sure I'll make a video about that later. But economic output is insanely important. Insanely important. And it is not a trade-off of lives versus economic output, because lives on here is lives. Economic output is in money. We can do math, which insurance companies do all the time, by the way, and economists do all the time. Brian Kaplan's a good person to read about, has some calculations for COVID stuff. It turns out money also equals lives, and you can just compare. Facts. It is more nuanced than that base comparison, but there is a lot there. The next thing you could do is do focus groups or polling or whatever it is, some kind of democratic mechanism to try to arrive at like, okay, you guys really didn't like it when we killed that one lady with the sniper rifle to save the 900 people. When should we kill the lady? Is it just we've never killed a lady? Because yeah, like 1 to infinity could be the policy. Like there's not a number of people that we are interested in saving to ever kill an innocent person. The authorities will never kill an innocent person under any circumstance. That's totally cool. It runs into some other problems we'll talk about in a bit, but whatever value the people say on average, and you sort of move it on the margins, right? And of course, you go and analyze how that decision was made in each case via postmortem. Like the president gets a call and it's Joe Biden, and they're like, hey, like, what do we do? Like, we got 1,000 to 1 people here, and the guy, our sniper has a clear shot. This guy's got a trigger. What do we do? And Joe Biden's like, Mom. And you're like, oh my fucking God. And the guy presses the shit in the nukes, and they're like, all right, President Biden, we'll call you back in a sec. A lot worse news on the way. Maybe the process was off. How the decision was made. So you do a postmortem, and you try to fine tune the diligence of the decision, the precision of the decision, and you try to reduce as much oversight problem and as much corruption as possible over time. So what you're doing is, whether you chose 1,000 to 1 as the ratio you're okay with, and you're not okay with anything that you're tolerating in this extreme dire circumstance, or 10,000 to 1, you can work on the margins by executing this process of measurement over time and iteration. You measure what's going on, say the 1,000 to 1's not working. Seems like people want more like 1,500 to 1. You instantiate that, you let it run in our society where we turn the clock faster than linear time. We see how all the effects, the economy, the progress, the prosperity, the happiness of the people, the social cohesion, the immigration, blah, 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 blah. And we see how that ends up affecting progress. And we optimize for the most lives saved, of course, and also the prosperity of the society saved via continued cohesion and all that good stuff.